And our next story is from the state of Israel. Tens of thousands of Israelis are up in arms against a pretty controversial plan to overhaul the Israeli judicial system. Now, this is ahead of a key Knesset vote to place two lawmakers on the Judicial Selection Committee. However, the protest heads have a warning for Netanyahu. The leaders of the weekly protest against the judicial overhaul plan have said that everything will ignite if one of the selected members of the Knesset is not from the opposition. They want the opposition representative Karen El-Harar to be on the panel. In a statement, the protest leaders have said, and I quote, "We are on an alert and all available to spring into action at a moment's notice." As per the reports, they have added that even if Karen El-Harar is selected, then the protest will still continue as long as the threat of dictatorship is not shelved. Now, the government's reform proposals will, of course, curtail the authority of the Supreme Court. It would give politicians, that is the executive, the incumbent government, greater powers over the selection of the judges. In March, the incumbent Prime Minister Netanyahu, who himself is facing a lot of corruption charges, had announced a pause to allow for talks on these judicial changes, which were moving through the parliament, and it split the nation right down the middle. Netanyahu's government, which is a coalition between his Likud party and the extreme right and the ultra-Orthodox Jewish allies, is firm on the need for this judicial overhaul. The coalition government has argued the proposed changes are needed to rebalance powers between the lawmakers and the judiciary. On the other hand, the opponents of the plan say that this will open the way for a more authoritarian government, and it goes against the separation of powers principle. To give us more perspective in terms of what, of course, is happening in Israel at this moment, we're being joined in by our correspondent Jody Cohen, who's joining us live from Ra'anana. Now, Jody, tell us as to what is the latest on the vote for the parliamentary representatives of the Judicial Selection Panel.
Hi, Mohammed. So the vote for the two parliamentary representatives is taking place. Two candidates were remaining, one for the coalition and one for the opposition. That's after all the other candidates dropped out. But the coalition candidate isn't the one agreed in the coalition deal between the Likud party and Otzma Yehudit. The remaining candidate actually comes from Likud. That's Tali Gottlieb, even though Netanyahu himself asked her to withdraw. So Netanyahu has reportedly advised his MPs to vote against both candidates to delay this election by 1 month to try to sort this out. Now, some in the opposition have said that they're actually going to be voting for the coalition candidate to try to get this passed. Another option could be that the opposition candidate is elected and the coalition candidate is elected in 1 month. The opposition have said that if their candidate isn't elected, they're going to be pulling out of the judicial reform negotiations, with opposition party head Benny Gantz saying that the opposition candidate needs to be elected today or he is going to pull out of those negotiations. If that happens, the protest leaders are suggesting we could see a return to the mass protests like the ones that have taken place at this junction and across the country. Now, Prime Minister Netanyahu reportedly doesn't want that to happen, but we'll have to wait and see a bit longer to see what the outcome is.
Absolutely indeed, Jody Cohen. Thank you very much indeed for joining us and getting us all those details there.
Thank you.